So if there is one element of Dragon Ball Super that has been consistently a big point of contention from day one, even between people who dislike and like the show, it's kind of the characterization of Son Goku, the protagonist. The thing with Goku in Super is that he is almost consistently portrayed as a complete pants-shitting idiot, for lack of a better term. Now, Goku is never the smartest tool in the shed, and he is very, very prone to extreme bouts of naivete and selfishness, which I will explain in the preceding next few minutes after this little introduction. But in Super, they really exaggerate him to the nth degree. He almost comes off as a borderline parody of himself, where he's just always has this stupid, high-pitched squeal to his voice, like he's always excited. He never really seems to take anything seriously, and he just makes some really baffling decisions that just don't make any sense, like forgetting the sensu beans in the anime version of the Goku Black arc. Like, that was just holy shit. Like, imagine if he did that shit on Namek and he just showed up on Namek without sensu beans because he lulz forgot about them. Like, fucking Gohan and Krillin would be dead, probably. Like, Gohan's neck was snapped by Raccoon, so he'd probably at least be dead, and certainly not strong enough to put up a fight against Ginyu when he takes over Goku's body. But the last episodes of Super have really kind of brought Goku's character back into what he usually is, and that is a selfish asshole. And before you tell me, oh no, Goku's not a selfish person, like Goku always, fights for truth and justice and in the American way, and no, he doesn't. That's in the original dub. If you actually read the manga and watch the original Z anime, Goku is an incredibly selfish person. He almost everything bad that happens after a certain point can be at one way or another attributed to Goku. That's not to say that Goku is the only offender here, because a lot of people love to exaggerate the fact that Goku's selfishness is the only thing that makes the Android arc happen or the Buu arc happen, when frankly everybody is an incredibly selfish prick in the Android arc. Like, everybody acting like a moron purely for their own selfish warrior junkie tendencies at one point or another makes that arc escalate. So that's kind of the reason why the Android arc is kind of just like a big mess of everybody trying to outdo themselves in the selfish scumbag department. But a lot of people just like to lump it on Goku, and I used to do that too, but to be fair to the guy, he is far from the only person who does selfish, destructive things. But a lot of people have grown up with the Z anime. And even the dub of Super is kind of trying to portray Goku as more heroic, where his motivation for training is like to protect people and not to specifically fight. And I understand why they're doing that, whatever. That doesn't really bother me. But it does create like this, false image of the character of Goku that he's far more noble than he really is. When Goku isn't noble, and Goku has been doing these kind of selfish, destructive things that only really work out because a lot of other shit happens that he simply could not account for, and everything just kind of works out. Like, the good guys in Dragon Ball more often than not win just through sheer dumb luck, and circumstances way outside of their scope of predicting or influencing help shape events so that they can kind of win. And even then, they win barely by the skin of their own teeth. So the reason, like if the Dragon Ball characters were put in a universe where the villains weren't completely incompetent, like, they'd be dead. There's no doubt about that. Like, if you put these people against, I don't know, Lex Luthor, like a competent Lex Luthor, he'd kill them all. Like, they'd never survive him, because the characters are, a lot of them are very, very selfish, and the only reason they even beat their antagonists most of the time is because of sheer dumb luck and certain events helping to turn the tide in their favor that they really just couldn't even predict. So yeah, the incompetence of the protagonist only allows them to win because of the incompetence of the antagonist. So that's kind of an interesting trait of Dragon Ball. Whether it's good or not, that depends entirely on you. Personally, I can take it or leave it, but I find it an interesting aspect. But back to the character of Goku. So Goku has been doing this kind of selfish crap since he fought Piccolo in the 23rd Budokai. And the 23rd Budokai, Goku pretty much lets Piccolo go just so he can fight him again. And because Goku is at this point the strongest person on Earth, and Piccolo is the only buddy who can threaten him. And if you watch the Piccolo fight, Goku barely survives that. Like, he wins, once again, just out of sheer dumb luck. Like, he just happened to have enough energy left over to, head smack into Piccolo and beat him. And even that is already super, super lucky, because Piccolo easily just could have laughed off that headbutt, gotten back to his feet, and killed Goku anyway. So, yeah. So Goku barely wins. He almost dies, and then he's perfectly fine with Piccolo, surviving. But, to be fair, once again, to be fair to Goku, there is, the fact that if you kill Piccolo, you kill Kami, and without Kami, the Dragon Balls are gone, and that is kind of a problem. So Goku does actually have a good practical and selfish reason to let Piccolo go. So that's fine. But what he does with Vegeta is probably what should clue you in. So in the Dragon Ball Kai dub and the original manga and the Japanese version of Z and the Japanese version of Kai, Goku does not let Vegeta go so he can reform. That's a dub-only thing from, the original Z dub. Goku lets Vegeta go because he wants to fight him again. Now look at the circumstances of the Saiyan saga. These guys, Goku and his friends, and his son, they have all spent an entire year preparing against the Saiyan invasion. And during that whole time, they've all, more or less, besides Gohan and Krillin, and I think Yan and Yajirobe, they've all died. This has been, the worst thing that's happened to them at this point. Goku's died. Gohan and Krillin have also both died, almost died on numerous occasions. Piccolo is dead. Yamcha is dead. Chaozu, Tenshinhan, all these people are killed in the defense of the planet against the Saiyans. And Goku, knowing what Vegeta has done, knowing what Raditz has done, what Nappa has done, knowing everything that's happened to himself, to his son, to his best friend, to all the friends that he's lost in this entire conflict, Goku is 100% willing to let Vegeta go so he can fight him again and potentially destroy the Earth another time. So Goku's whole decision to let Vegeta go is him basically taking a big piss on not just his own efforts, but the efforts of Gohan and Krillin and the various sacrifices that all of these people have made, people he knows, people he cares about. He's effectively pissing on that just so he can fight Vegeta again and have a good time. And before you tell me, Goku knew that Frieza existed, so of course he would let him go. But no, Goku has no idea who Frieza is. Goku doesn't even know he's gonna fight Frieza until Krillin and Gohan get to Namek and they call him over the phone, and then King Kai explains to him on his trip to Namek who Frieza is. And so this thing might, of course, him letting Vegeta go works in hindsight, because a lot of things without Vegeta there would have gone horribly wrong for the good guys, which is how, like I already explained, how in the Dragon Ball universe, the characters just barely win by the skin of their teeth, and it's usually just by sheer dumb luck. So in hindsight, when you look at it from a reader's or a viewer's perspective, his decision to let Vegeta go is actually really smart. However, the fact of the matter is that these guys are not us. They're not the readers. They're not the viewers. Goku at the Saiyan arc doesn't know he's going to get Super Saiyan Blue or Super Saiyan 4. He doesn't know that. He doesn't know all this other shit beyond what's happening right now is going to happen. He just wants to fight Vegeta, and circumstances just work out so that his decision to let Vegeta live isn't the worst thing ever. But at that moment, it is incredibly selfish, and for all the good guys know, Vegeta could come back any day now and then just fucking kill everybody. Goku's in the hospital and he can't, beat him. So yeah, that's already a big indicator that Goku is an inherently selfish person. And then we get to Namek against Frieza. So Goku has this big proclamation before Krillin dies that he's going to avenge the Saiyans, then he's going to avenge the Namekians. And then he just dicks around with Frieza and just, when the moment when Frieza's using the no hands portion of the fight where they're just kind of dicking around, Goku has no reason to dick around. Goku, when he got into this fight, he was fully intent to beat the shit out of Frieza and defeat him. And then as the fight progresses, Goku is, for a good chunk of that fight, just, being a stupid fighting junkie. He's just, having a good time, and he's just challenging himself against Frieza. And he only really starts to see the severity of the situation when Frieza reveals he has 100 plus million extra power level points, and Goku is totally fucked if he doesn't use the Spirit Bomb. So that's when he started to take the situation seriously. And then when Krillin dies, he does the same thing again. Like, he could kill 70% Frieza easily. Like, there's no debate on that. Like, this isn't even like the Kaioken thing where you can say, oh, if Goku used Kaioken from the start, Frieza just would have powered up to overwhelm him sooner. And okay, I don't agree with that, but I can at least see that train of thought. But 70% Frieza needs a lot of time to get to 100%. That is more than enough time for Goku to kill him like dozens of times over. And he doesn't do that because, once again, his whole proclamation of, I'm going to avenge Krillin, I'm going to avenge the Saiyans, the Namekians, I'm going to avenge all these people, falls by the wayside because he wants to have a good fight. And then he wants to let Frieza go the first time so that he can just go across the universe and just be a spiteful little shit and just blow stuff up because he's angry that a Saiyan beat him and that he could potentially come back to Earth and cause more trouble for the Earthlings, trouble that wouldn't have to happen if Goku just, up and kills him. And that's, once again, another instance of Goku just being selfish. Goku just letting his desire to fight overwhelm absolutely everything is. And that's pretty much one of the reasons why I kind of dislike the Super Saiyan Goku versus Frieza fight, because Goku's character is just really all over the fucking place in that thing, where I just don't know what Toriyama is trying to convey exactly, and if he is trying to convey something, he's not doing a good job of it. But then we get to the Android arc. And the Android arc is, like I said, the moment where everybody goes full selfish battle junkie moron. So at the beginning of the Android arc, Future Trunks, shows up and he tells them that Dr. Gero has two androids, 19 and 20, and yes, they were 19 and 20 originally, but then Toriyama retcons them into being 17 and 18. 17 and 18 because his editor didn't like 19 and 20, basically. But he basically says that, this guy's going to make these androids, and they're going to show up in 3 years, and they're going to fucking kill all of you. And then Goku and everybody else's plan for that is, cool, we're going to train for 3 years, we're going to wait for the androids to show up, and then we're going to kill them. And once again, if you're watching this from the sidelines, you might think to yourself, well, okay, this works out because, Cell would show up, if these guys just kill Gero, and then Cell would show up and Cell would just kill everybody else. Well, no, Cell wouldn't kill everybody else. Cell would just be like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? 17, 18 are dead. I have no way to become perfect. So Cell could potentially, try to kill everybody, and you could say, that's why Goku does it, but nobody knows about Cell, guys. You have to realize that what the characters know at the time is completely different from all of us who are actually watching them experience all this, after the fact. And the whole decision to let Gero go has been a continuous point of contention between people, where some people are like, Goku and company, they're all being really selfish by just not killing Gero. Why don't they just call Shenron and then find out what Gero is actually like so that they can actually properly gauge how morally right it is to kill him preemptively? And there are a lot of sides to this debate, and I personally fall on the side of, you guys have experienced all this other shit on Namek, and you've seen what your stupid warrior code does. It almost gets you killed over and over and over again, and more often than not, it gets you killed, flat out. So yeah, I'm not a fan of how the characters after the Namek arc are just persistently doing stupid, selfish things over and over and over again, and they just don't learn anything from it. They don't grow as people. And Goku kind of falls into that category where everything after Namek is just an exercise in seeing how much of a scumbag Goku is. And the Android arc is a good example because of the Gero thing, and it's a good example because of what happens with Cell. So Goku gives Cell the Sensu Bean, and I don't like, why? I guess the logic is supposed to be that if Goku thinks that if he stacks the odds against Gohan even more, that Gohan's gonna snap faster, I suppose. But once again, wouldn't it just be easier to keep Cell weakened and let Gohan, the fresh, Gohan fight him and then have a chance to win that way? Wouldn't that just be smarter? Wouldn't that just make I don't know, more sense to do. Because that's kind of like the crux of the whole thing. Because Goku and a lot of the other characters, they do these kinds of things just to make everything more interesting for them. Like, they're not really interested in pragmatism. They're not superheroes out to save the world. They're just interested in having, like, a good fight. And then when shit goes bad, they have to figure out a way to scurry off and fix it. And that can be, like, once again, a good or a bad thing. That's actually really interesting for a shonen series to do, where the heroes aren't like these righteous characters. They're just really selfish battle junkies. And that is an aspect of like the Dragon Ball universe that I really like, and that really gets on my nerves sometimes, because it's a morally complex situation, and sometimes that kind of stuff can, grate on your nerves, or cannot be handled properly. But I do, despite, many times, complaining about Goku's selfishness, I do find that kind of aspect of him interesting. And this is like another fine example where I find it interesting, and I like the fact that we have a shonen series that's just blatantly about selfish, borderline bad people as kind of like the protagonists. But once again, the other part of my brain's like, why the fuck don't you just do it easier? And that is kind of an unavoidable issue in a story like this. But then we get the Majin Buu arc. And the Majin Buu arc has several instances of Goku being a fucking moron. So, contrary to popular belief, Goku is not out to have a good fight against Majin Vegeta initially. The reason in the manga and the Z anime, and I don't know if Kai did it because I haven't seen Buu Kai yet, but whatever. But in the manga, Goku explicitly tells Vegeta that he is going to power up to his maximum to end the fight quickly so Majin Buu doesn't hatch. That is the express reason Goku immediately uses Super Saiyan 2 against Majin Vegeta so he can curb stomp him. And then when Majin Buu uses his own version of Super Saiyan 2, Goku's like, oh shit, well, looks like I'm not going to be able to win this fight so easily. And this causes Majin Buu to hatch. But here's the thing. In universe, Goku has Super Saiyan 3 at this point. And if Goku has Super Saiyan 3, and he's saying and acting like his intent is to go to his maximum power to overwhelm Vegeta, why doesn't he simply use Super Saiyan 3 to beat the shit out of Vegeta, even if he has Super Saiyan 2? Like, why aren't you doing this? And don't tell me he's out to spare Vegeta's pride, because Goku immediately goes Super Saiyan 2 so he can curb stomp Vegeta. He does not know Vegeta has Super Saiyan 2 as well. For all he knows, Vegeta only has like the basic Super Saiyan, mastered, but still basic. And so that whole logic of, oh, he wants to preserve Vegeta's wounded pride doesn't work, because Goku goes Super Saiyan 2 for the explicit purpose of curb stomping the shit out of Vegeta and ending the fight quickly. And the only thing that stops him is the fact that Vegeta has his own variant of Super Saiyan 2. And then once again, I just have to ask, why don't you just use Super Saiyan 3 to, beat the shit out of him? And then we get to the Kid Buu fight, and I know you're gonna tell me like the Fat Buu thing, but the Fat Buu thing, everybody agrees with the Fat Buu thing. Like even Goku's most adamant fantard morons know that was just a really fucking stupid thing for him to do. So I don't even feel the need to address it. But then there's like the Kid Buu fight, where like they don't use fusion to beat Kid Buu. Once again, they're going the path that's more interesting for them. That's more interesting for them, like that's more fun for them instead of the safe path. And, the whole reason for them to not use Vegito is the fact that Majin Buu is by himself, so it's only fair for them to fight alone. This whole argument falls completely flat on its ass when you realize they use everybody else's power to kill Kid Buu with the Spirit Bomb. And once again, this is not necessarily a bad idea, but it's a needlessly hard one, because Goku even says, like, why don't we just get Gotenks and Gohan in here? And before you tell me Kid Buu is stronger than Gohan and Gotenks, in the manga, it is explicitly said that Super Buu is stronger than Kid Buu. There's no denying that. And I am looking at events through the lens of the manga. So before you tell me Kid Buu is stronger than Gohan and Gotenks, and that they wouldn't have made a difference, fuck off. In the manga, they're still a lot stronger than Goku or Kid Buu are, even at Super Saiyan 3. So yeah, like Goku could have just ignored Vegeta's stupid advice, like he ignored Bulma's sound advice in the Jiro debate to just kill Jiro, and he just could have told Vegeta to fuck off and just gotten Gohan and Gotenks in here, and they would have curb stomped Kid Buu easily. And once again, I'm not saying that the Spirit Bomb idea is necessarily bad. And I know the Spirit Bomb idea is also like more dramatic, and that's why they're doing it, because it's more dramatic, and that's what makes it more interesting. But in a universe, these characters aren't interested in like making a good show for the readers. Like they might be interested in a good show for themselves, but not really for the readers' sake. So, and Goku has just admitted that his plan for using Super Saiyan 3 instead of fusion was fucking stupid. Like he even chastises himself and says, "Shit, I was being cocky, I should have used fusion with you, we would have won this super, super easily if I did that." And so it just creates this really weird situation where Goku knows he's fucking up over and over and over again, and he's doing these stupid selfish things, but then he just keeps doing them. Like in the Battle of Gods arc and in the movie, everybody tells him, leave Beerus alone, all you're going to do is annoy him, and all you're going to do is needlessly put everybody's lives at risk. And that's true. He does over and over and over again. He just doesn't know when to let go. And then he wants to let Frieza go in the Resurrection F movie and the arc, so he can come back and endanger everybody again, and potentially the rest of the universe again. And then he dicks around with Goku Black at Super Saiyan 2 in the anime, and just doesn't immediately kill him when he can. Like I could go on. Like, as you can probably tell, as we reach the end of this, I just kind of lost steam because I've been going at this for like 20 fucking minutes. But Goku being a selfish prick is not something that should surprise you. Goku's entire character as an adult is almost universally, I'm a selfish prick, and just seeing how far this escalates. And this Universe Survival arc is just the biggest and also next logical step for him. And that's also why I kind of like the decision, because as much as Goku's selfishness annoys me, and as much as I feel like it's not a character trait anymore, that it's just a convenient way for the writers to add tension to situations that could be easily resolved, I still do like the fact that we do have like this big kind of shonen character of all things who is an unapologetically selfish person. And I know I keep using like the term selfish over and over again, but Goku's not maliciously selfish. Like Goku doesn't like go into like the Cell fight thinking to himself, yes, I will fight Cell, and then Gohan's gonna have to do it, and then he's gonna get like beaten up and stuff, and it's gonna be really cool. Like Goku doesn't do that. Goku's kind of also really, really naive, and he thinks that things are always gonna work out for the better. And then when you combine like this extreme kind of like desire for battle, a selfish desire for battle, and extreme naivete, you get, Son Goku. So, yeah, I understand why people have a lot of issues with the character, but me personally, who has kind of seen the light, so to speak, on this topic, years ago, I'm not surprised by it. And if anything, this is probably the most interesting Goku's ever been in Super. And I still think that we should give Super a chance. And I know that's really weird for me to say, but the fact that they're all unapologetically bringing Goku's character back to something that actually resembles who he actually is, that does give me hope that Super is not going to be completely moronic in this instance. And once again, I can argue the fact that Goku is still probably naively thinking that Zeno isn't just going to destroy a universe that loses. However, if Goku sees Zeno destroy a universe, and he keeps acting nonchalant like he is, that's going to be a really, really big problem. Because until that moment, you can say that Goku still thinks better of Zeno, that he still thinks Zeno's not going to go through with that, or he thinks that if they all put up a really, really good show, that Zeno's going to show mercy on everybody and he's not going to go through with this. However, if there is a moment where Zeno destroys a whole universe, and Goku afterward still keeps acting, I'm hyped, I'm excited, or he keeps acting nonchalant about the repercussions of his actions, that's going to be a really, really big problem. So yeah, is Goku's character like ruined or whatever? I don't think it is. Super could potentially fuck it up afterward if they do what I highly suspect that they're going to do, but I hope they don't. But this is actually kind of the first time Goku has actually been an interesting character in Super, and he's actually kind of doing something. So yeah, guys, what do you think about Goku's character? This is actually a video that I've been meaning to do for a long time. In the midst of this storm of is Goku an evil person or is Goku a bad person videos, I feel like it was a fairly, appropriate time to do it.